Hello, this is the Midday News. I am Momudu Kajaka. Thank you for joining us. First, our main news headlines. Address large crowds in Soma on Friday night. President Barrow has announced that the country's next industrial zone will be in Jarasoma. Saturday, 20th November was World Children's Day, celebrated globally to promote the rights of children, besides improving their standards of living. We hear how the event was commemorated in the Gambia by the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare. The Gambia Christian Council on Saturday held a National Day of Prayer ahead of the December 4th presidential elections. 29 members of the Gambia Armed Forces have completed a 6-week-long Commando selection training sponsored by the UK government through its High Commission in the Gambia. Those were the main news headlines, and now the news in detail. Welcome, and we thank you so much for joining us. First, this is the Midday News. President Barrow has announced that the country's next industrial zone will be in Jarasoma, describing the settlement as viable for such developments. The NPP-led coalition candidate made the revelation as he addressed large crowds in Jarasoma on Friday night. Aliou Cissé has more in this story.
The president arrived in Soma town to a rousing welcome as he dialogued with Gambians in his bid for re-election. At the meeting, President Barrow recognized the importance of Soma not just as a strategically located settlement, but its viability for major investments as it hosts the OMVG Sub-Regional Energy Substation. He said the town is ideal for investments such as factories, hence the reason for identifying Jarasoma for the next industrial zone.
But LRR Jang, the next industrial zone, identify la Jarasoma le Jang. Woto Kuba wale anyati lingala.
According to him, the people of the region have had senior members of government but had not benefited from developments like it has been under his government. He cited the Senegambia Bridge, a new market for Soma, and the OMVG substation as among the developments his government has brought to the area. He promised more developments under a completely run NPP government. Addressing two other meetings on the same day in Sutukung, Jara East, and Sitahuma in Jara Central, the Gambian leader said he understands the problems of the people as he vowed to address their problems in his next term. At all the meetings, speakers renewed their love, convenience, and trust in the leadership of President Adama Barrow for sustainable peace, stability, and social cohesion, and pledged their votes for the NPP-led Grand Coalition. Omar A. Jallo, alias OJ, a veteran politician and advisor to the PPP party, and Sidi Keita, Minister of Trade and native of the region, called on Gambians to rally their support behind the president, testifying that the president has big ambitions to further develop the country with peace and stability.
La fi génne am nañ jàmm lu la neex wax lu la neex def fu la neex dem nga dem tëdd nelaw eewu ci jàmm duñ la arrest duñ la tooco duñ la dóor kon nag ku ñëw fii wax leen lu uteeg loolu wax leen ko de yéen Gambia ngeen gis jaami Gambia ngeen gis jëm kanami Gambia ngeen gis te Adama Barrow ngeen def loolu doy nañu ci loolu lañ bokk.
Karam do dindigol fanala karam.
Mu ne nag ndaw yi nga xamante ne liggéey dem école yi ñoom seen mbiri école yi.
Public schools.
Mu ne nag si school yi government yi.
Birin kindergarten.
Mu ne nag ci bi xale yi tuuti yi ndaw yi.
For grade 12.
The grade 12.
Abe mo free let.
Yépp nag free la kenn.
Nga understand ne fana.
Mu ne nag yépp na ne.
Hani textbook olo.
Mu ne nag même book si sax.
Abe mo free let.
Yépp free la.
According to them, the Gambia is now highly recognized and respected at the international level, citing the appointment of a Gambian to head the ECOWAS Commission and the main qualification of the country to the African Cup of Nations. Today, Saturday, the president wrapped up his meetings of the first leg tour in rural Gambia with meetings in Nyoro Jataba in Kiang West, Kuinala in Kiang Central, and Kayaf in Kiang East. At the meetings, the Kiankas were appreciative of the electricity project for the area and the planned construction of the 80-kilometer Kiang West Road project, which is awarded to Gay Construction. The president will return to Banjul tomorrow, Sunday, to what his supporters say is going to be another heroic welcome from the Kalaji Bridge to State House in Banjul. Reporting for QTV News from Jarasoma in the Lower River region, I am Aliou Cisse.
World Children's Day was on Saturday commemorated by the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare. The day is being observed in accordance to the global coronavirus pandemic, which has affected the rights of every child. Yahya Jao has more.
World Children's Day is observed annually on November 28 to commemorate the day of the Declaration of the Rights of the Child by the UN General Assembly on the same day in 1959. The day is celebrated globally to promote the rights of children besides improving their standard of living. Fatu Jaite from the SOS Children's Village, on behalf of the children, underscored the need for government to give more attention to children's welfare by investing in their activities. She says children are the future of the country, thus investing in them means investing in the country's future.
On behalf of my fellow children, I call on the government of the Gambia to continue to prioritize children's welfare and well-being by creating a safe environment for all children to enjoy their rights through the implementation of the Children's Act 2005 and other support policies to better the lives of children.
Fatu Kinte, the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, says celebrating World Children's Day is important as it empowers children and also gives them the opportunity to amplify their voices on key issues affecting their lives. She says her ministry is committed to ensuring that the affairs of children, especially the girl child, is given the necessary consideration to help eliminate the gender-based challenges faced by the girl child in the country.
As a nation, we should continue to focus on delivering affordable, reliable solutions for both at school and at home learning. Efforts to continue providing educational resources to disadvantaged children during the pandemic. But these initiatives need to be more than just a solution to pandemic-related problems. They should be implemented regardless of the pandemic to ensure that all children can access learning materials.
Fatoumata Dafe, a former member of the Children's National Assembly, called on the government, parents and adults to promote children's rights and address issues affecting them.
On this year's theme, which is investing in our future means investing in our children, I would like to call on each and every adult here and all around the world to invest in the future, in which automatically you are investing on children, because I don't think there would be a future without children. So protect the children, support them, give them the love and care they need, because they are the future. They are the leaders of tomorrow.
World Children's Day is being observed in accordance to the global coronavirus pandemic, which has affected the rights of every child. Climate change, educational divide, and mental health issues have also taken a toll on children during the pandemic. The day promotes international togetherness and raises awareness among children to improve their welfare. Reporting for QTV News, I am Yahya Jao.
Ahead of the December 4th presidential elections, the Gambia Christian Council on Saturday held a National Day of Prayer at the Arch 22 in Banjul. The occasion was graced by the Ministers of Fisheries and Basic and Secondary Education. Nsumane Sonyasi tells us more.
Held under the theme Peace and Unity, this year's National Day of Prayer comes less than 2 weeks before the presidential elections, an apt theme for an important occasion that seeks to bring Gambians together and foster national peace and coexistence. Addressing the congregation, Bishop James Allen Yao Odiko, the chairman, Gambia Christian Council, implored Gambians to preach peace and fight against all forms of division. Gambians, he says, are ardent believers and thus the need to follow God's message of peace and love as enshrined in the Holy Scriptures, adding that it is incumbent upon every Gambian to maintain peace during and after the elections.
As people of faith, as believers in God, we have a role, a lead role, in the promotion of peace and unity. We must be ambassadors for peace.
In a strong message to Gambians, Bishop Hannah Caroline Falhem, Bishop of the Methodist Church of the Gambia, and Pastor Sylvester Jame both urge political party leaders to implore their followers to ensure peaceful elections.
So this day, I am pronouncing peace for Gambia. Lives will not be lost. Destruction of property will not happen. No matter what, we will all come together and one, despite our differences, because God gave us Gambia. And if you are here at this time from other nations, God brought you for a purpose. Work for the good of Gambia and the peoples, your neighbor, your churches, your community, this whole nation.
Brothers and sisters, God spoke this world into being. God said, let there be light, and there was light.
Yes.
God spoke the universe into being.
Amen.
Furthermore, they said God loves the Gambia, hence the peace, stability, and peaceful coexistence we continue to enjoy. Saturday's occasion was graced by the Ministers of Fisheries and Basic and Secondary Education, James Gomez and Claudiana Cole, and heads of the various churches within the Greater Banjul and beyond. Ansumane Sonyasi for KTV News.
Well, that report by Ansumane Sonyasi will take us to a commercial break, and when we return, we'll still have some more news stories for you. Just stay tuned.
Looking for the fastest and easiest way to receive money transfers from abroad? Well, QMoney and RIA just made it happen. Now you can receive international money transfer from RIA directly into your QMoney account with no additional cost. Once you receive an SMS alert about your transfer, walk into any QMoney agent across the country to receive your payment for free, or use the money immediately to buy credit, QPower, and other QMoney services. It's fast, safe, and convenient. For more info, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sunu Calpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is the Midday News on QTV. 29 members of the Gambia Armed Forces have completed a 6-week-long Commando selection training sponsored by the UK government through its High Commission in the Gambia. The training was conducted by a team of British Royal Marine Commandos. More in this report by Mutulamin Choi.
6-week-long intensive Commando selection training has ended with these men from all the units of the Gambia Armed Forces graduating from the training course. The course was conducted by members of the British Army from 42 Commando, the Royal Marines. 89 military personnel began the training, but many were dropped, leaving this batch of 29 to successfully complete the capacity building training, which was sponsored by the UK government. Captain Leach of 42 Commando, Royal Marines, tells us about the training and how much it has prepared these members of our army.
Okay, so each week they're conducting different modules of training, which included medical training, close quarter battle, reconnaissance, and then a final exercise that accumulated all the training they'd competed. Additionally to that, they had almost daily physical sessions, which involved speed marches, assault courses, lots of press-ups, lots of running to test their physical fitness and how they could apply that when they're on the battlefield.
Having been exposed to the intensive Commando selection training, these military men are better prepared to effectively carry out their constitutional mandate of defending the territorial integrity of our country. Delivering the keynote address on behalf of the Chief of Defence Staff, Colonel Musa Traore, head of the military intelligence, recognizes the need for capacity building training for the military amidst the rising security threats in the sub-region.
It is for this reason that the Gambia Armed Forces, in its fights against terrorism and other forms of transnational crimes, set up necessary security outfit, namely the counter-terrorism unit of the Gambia Armed Forces. Therefore, the provision of an advanced infantry operator cadre course for members of the armed forces is a step in the right direction, as it will provide an additional important layer in our security architecture.
The team leader of the training course participants, Second Lieutenant Mohammed Mane, delivers the vote of thanks on behalf of his colleagues.
The training troop and I are so proud to have associated and learned from you all, the Royal Marine Commandos. Thank you for the speed marches and the sally ups and downs. It made us stronger than many. Thank you for the bottom fill. It gave us Superman level confidence.
Major Abdoulaye Ba is the commandant of the Gambia Armed Forces Training School, and he explains how crucial commander training is to the military.
So this encompasses a host of things. That is, these people will be able to live in the field, administer and quarter themselves, for an extended period of time without being seen, heard, or detected, and they can carry on their operations. So commandos operations in essence, it is an enhanced infantry capability that every armed force needs in order to be able to successfully conduct certain operations.
The Gambia Armed Forces over the years have benefited from such training from international partners as part of its reforms to achieve a more professional army that performs its function with the required capacity to carry out their mandate. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Agriculture is one of the major drivers of the Gambia's economy, and as this year's farming season comes to an end, farmers are busy harvesting their produce. Our regional correspondent Bakari Balde spoke to some farmers in the Lower River region about this year's farming season. Here is the report.
Farmers can be seen in their farms harvesting groundnuts with animal draw ploughs, while others are using primitive hoe. This activity involves hard labor and a lot of stamina. The farm produce at the end of the season is either for family consumption or sold. Jawara Sedikan, a civil servant who is a community development assistant, tells us why he ventured into farming and explain how the type of fertilizers he applied made his crop healthy.
Yeah, I've been agriculture for quite a long time, well before I come to be a civil servant. And it's being a civil servant doesn't stop me from venturing into agriculture too. And the farm here is more than subsidy farming, it's commercial agricultural farming as well. I use laser, low external input for sustainable agriculture. That's the method I use in this farm. Like the animal feces from my sheep, cattle, that's what I used to gather. And I come and put them here. They serve as a backup for fertilizer.
Babukar Drame, a school teacher, owns a groundnut and goose farm. Explain how insufficient rainfall affected his crops. He says animals, including monkeys and cattle, cause damage to the crops.
Due to insufficient rain, this is why the groundnut they don't, go up to certain full maturity that, we expect. At the initial part, the monkeys that do normally comes to at least, do some damages. But after a while, the monkeys stop coming. So we don't, encounter much damages on that. But as of now, the cattle, they normally spend the night, in the farm. So this is why we are trying to gather the ground to put them at one place so that we can put them in a fence to secure them.
Cherno Mahmoudou Diallo of Jara Kanikunda highlights how lack of equipment affected his farming activity. According to him, animal incursion is the major problem they are encountered.
I am faced with some challenges. I don't have a donkey, and which made things difficult for me as a farmer. Without it, I have no choice but to borrow from those who have them. I do not have money to buy a donkey. Therefore, I am pleading to the government for help.
Jawara Saidi Khan has this advice for his fellow civil servants and youths.
I employ all youths, being a civil servant, especially those who are not working. Let's go back to agriculture. It's a matter of time. We need a little capital to start. Once you plan yourself, you can do it. I know the government cannot do it alone, but let's start mobilize resources for our farming. If we plan better, you end up getting success in agriculture.
Despite the challenges encountered during the season, these farmers are optimistic that they have a good marketing system for their farm produce from government and suitable customers. Reporting for QTV News, I am Bakari Balde.
Well, this story reminds me of the days when I used to be a very good farmer, but those days are gone now. Before we end, here is a recap of our main news headlines. Address large crowds in Soma on Friday night, President Barrow has announced that the country's next industrial zone will be in Jarasoma. Saturday, 20th November was World Children's Day, celebrated globally to promote the rights of children besides improving their standard of living. We heard how the event was commemorated in the Gambia by the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare. The Gambia Christian Council on Saturday held a National Day of Prayer ahead of the December 4th presidential elections. 29 members of the Gambia Armed Forces have completed a 6-week-long Commando selection training sponsored by the UK government through its High Commission in the Gambia. And that's it for the Midday News. Thank you very much for watching and have a pleasant day. Bye.